Guys, welcome to Sailing Good Old Boats. So this is the first episode of our brand new YouTube channel, and well, it's coronavirus time. So COVID-19 has reached Germany also, and the creator over here is self-quarantine and social distancing as much as possible. So that is probably more or less the same like anywhere else right now, and therefore there's not much sailing going on really. Most of the boats are on the hard right now. There's hardly any sailboat in the water, and it's questionable if it's going to be possible this summer or not. Hence we figured we'll provide you with some awesome footage that we had from last year sailing Lake Winnipeg in Manitoba on two different good old boats. First we purchased an Irwin 25 that we fixed up and sailed, and later on a Bayfield 25. Both are extraordinary boats, great little and relatively affordable boats that you can pick up and fix up and sail and have fun with it. It's just, that is what we are trying to show you, that you don't need that much money to go sailing really, you know. You can find an old boat, fix it up and have just as much fun with it than on a big expensive yacht. Also, I would like to add at this point that we are of course still looking for a sailboat over here in Germany that we can pick up for cheap and fix up, although we are not really anticipating to put it into the water this year, but who knows, I mean, maybe towards the end of the season. So meanwhile we'll entertain you with footage from last year on our Irwin 25, Bayfield 25, Varianta 65, which means 6 meter 50, not 65 feet, it's actually only 21 feet. It's another small nutshell. And hopefully you guys enjoy it while you are self-quarantining and doing the right thing. So stay tuned and enjoy the channel. Thanks for watching. And oh yeah, and if you could, please give us a like, subscribe, or even become a patron and help us to create more footage. Thanks a lot, guys. There we go, maiden voyage, finally.
Oh, that's so cool.
Taking the boat out for the very first time felt absolutely amazing. The engine was running smooth and strong. Then there was a magic moment when we killed the engine, put the sails up and let her go. Things went way better than expected. There was hardly any wind, but we were still clipping along with about 2 to 3 knots. We picked an awesome day. Lake Winnipeg looked almost like a mirror. It was absolutely beautiful. Okay, Emmy, you can have the foredeck all to yourself. Finally the wind picked up and she really came alive. Our slip neighbor and good sailing friend Lior agreed to tag along on our shakedown sail. Lior is a well-seasoned sailor with a lot of experience under his belt. He sails on an Abbott 36 with a modified shoal keel. During the summer months he takes his boat up north into the wide open northern basin of Lake Winnipeg and spends up there several weeks in total solitude. A couple of years ago he also crossed the Pacific Ocean. Thank you, Leo, for all your help and support, all the good advice and all the knowledge you shared with us that summer. It was much appreciated. It's not bad. Also the levers is actually quite alright, you know, for a boat of this size. Not too bad.
I'm gonna show you a magic trick with this coin. Watch the coin carefully. Here's a coin. And now another magic trick. See the coin? I'm going to throw it away. Did you watch? Well, boom, here is it. And look, here is a big buck.
We found her beginning of April in Hecla Grindstone Provincial Park up at Lake Winnipeg, where she was sitting on the heart and had been neglected for a couple of years. We fell in love with her right away and decided to take her on as a project. Sure, it took a bit to bring her back to her former grace and beauty, but it was worth every minute. There was a whole lot of sanding, priming, filling, painting, sanding again. The old 2-stroke 8-horsepower Honda outboard engine turned out to be quite a project by itself. We decided to name her Gypsy. The dark bottle green really complemented her classic lines. We also redid the entire upholstery to have a nice, warm and cozy feeling inside. Now finally here we were, ready to put her back into the water. What an exciting day.
Guck mal.
Das sind die beiden Tanker Islands.
Die kleine und die große. The small one and the big one.
I like the big one better.
Why is that? Because it's bigger?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful sailing today. On a broad range. About 8 to 10 knots. More like 8. I think we are going what, about 4 knots or 4.5, or what are we doing right now?
4.2.
4.2, okay, that's somewhere in between. How much is it now?
4.8. 9.
Nice.
5.
5 knots, very good.
Here she comes.
That's where I want to be. Perfect.
Jetzt geht's los.
Du hast gemacht. Auch ein paar nochmal?
Also machen wir dann erst. Mal da. Versuch mal. Action is falling.
Satisfying.
Engine trouble.
Engine trouble.
Satisfying.
Ja, Amy hat ein neues Wort entdeckt.
Ich habe nicht entdeckt. Es ist halt nur überall. Wenn man Gras drauf.
Although I had worked on the engine extensively, including the carburetor, I had it apart at least twice, cleaned everything thoroughly. On the way back into the dock she started sputtering and eventually died on us. Fortunately, we managed at some point to restart her and limped back into our slip. I decided to clean the carburetor one more time and put a little fuel filter within between the fuel pump and the carburetor. So that seemed to do the trick.
Einen Sturm, seht ihr?
Nein, gib mir das.
Aber wie
Ich hab das doch schon gerade gezeigt.
Ja, aber Sie wollen das nochmal sehen von mir. Wollt ihr?
Nein, jetzt hör auf.
Du hörst auf.
After we resolved our little engine issue, we decided to take our new dinghy out for a little spin around the neighborhood.
Slowly but steady women.
It was another beautiful evening at Hecla Island Provincial Park.
It's all about the resin. Gotta get your resin going and stick to it.
Once again, the lake looked like a mirror. It was another just beautiful and unforgettable evening out on Lake Winnipeg.
Almost doesn't count.
I had my feet in the water with mommy. I have all my things packed. And I'm just gonna show you guys a little around. Here we have barbecue chips.
The Irwin 25 came in two different versions. You could either have the fin keel with a spade rudder, or there was also available a shoal keel with a centerboard. The shoal keel centerboard version was about 375 pounds heavier than the fin keel version of this boat, which resulted in different numbers that you would find online when you look up the Irwin 25, because they're all for the shoal keel version. So our boat would be actually 5,025 pounds heavy with a 4-foot draft and a sail area to displacement ratio of 17.37. Ballast to displacement ran only at 36 and not 40%, and displacement length 260. I thought it made her a really good little cruising sailboat because you could load her up a little bit more. On the other hand, one would have to be aware of the fact that you have a lot of sail area to displacement with a lower ballast to displacement ratio of only 36%. So you would have to expect probably to put in a reef a little bit earlier than normal. But that also made her a really good light air performer, as we have seen on our shakedown sail.
Here we have the bedroom. We have the bed. Pretty comfy. Just look.
Hey guys!
Hi.
Oh wait.
Mom, that's a big spider.
Die tun nur nichts.
Und tötet das.
Ich kann es festhalten.
Oh, Schatzi!
Oh!
Breeze, nice breeze.
Yeah, because we are
Oh, I want
out of the islands, so to speak, right?
Nice, look at this. Oh, look at the birdie! That's so cool.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Look at me for knots.
Yeah, how fast are we?
You wanna give me that and I take some footage and you can...
3.6.
Nice!
And I'll take you to the We sailed there most of the time on the very conservative side. As you can see right now, we have a reef in, although it wasn't really necessary that very day because there was hardly any wind. But still, even though we had the first reef in the main, we were still clipping along pretty decent. Like I said, a really good light air performer. Like I have mentioned already a couple of times before, we have sailed this summer on Lake Winnipeg, which extends with its northern basin all the way into the heart of Manitoba, Canada. We sailed between Hecla, Grindstone Provincial Park and the surrounding islands. We moored our boat in Gull Harbor, which is located at the very northeast tip of Hecla Island. Lake Winnipeg is about 415 kilometers long, or 260 miles roughly. Its southern basin would be at its widest point about 40 kilometers or 20 miles wide, and its northern basin would be about 100 kilometers or 60 miles wide at its widest point. So once you sail on that kind of in the middle, you can't see shore on either side. It's almost like being out in the ocean. Its total surface area is very close to 25,000 square kilometers or about 9,500 square miles. It also runs a pretty impressive length of shoreline,
at about 1,860 kilometers or 1,150 miles. The primary inflows would be the Winnipeg River, Saskatchewan River, and the Red River. And the primary outflow in the north is the Nelson River. It is relatively shallow though. Its average depth is only 12 meters or 39 feet. And maximum depth would be 36 meters or 118 feet. Somewhere closer to the Narrows, which divides the northern from the southern basin. Because it is that shallow, high waves can build on Lake Winnipeg within a matter of only minutes. Our boat came with a really nice furling system for the Genoa that made it really easy to adjust the foresail. So you can see here we're just going under our Genoa downwind, and yeah, it's very easy to adjust. There's not much really you have to do, so it made it super easy to single-hand the boat if needed. The cockpit of the Irwin is quite spacious, with bunks being, I want to say, about 10 feet long. So there's plenty of space to do whatever you want. Like Emmy is fishing here right now, and we never felt crowded, the three of us in the cockpit. There was plenty of space, even with 4 people on board. Yeah, the cockpit is laid out very generous on the Irwin 25. There's an abundance of beautiful little anchorages and secluded little places that you can find with your sailboat on Lake Winnipeg. I think one would need way more than just one summer to find all the beautiful little spots that you can gang all around in.
Wir fahren jetzt zurück und wir haben geankert. Wir waren gerade angeln und hier sieht man auch, dass wir geankert haben. Der Wein riecht gut.
Yeah. So here we are, last night on the boat.
Schlafen wir nicht noch hier einmal?
Ja, letzte Nacht, heute.
Schlafen wir nicht morgen auch nochmal?
Nee.
Oh.
Leider nicht. In August it looked like we would have to move again. And as much as we loved GYPSEA, we decided to put out for sale. And like most good old boats, she sold within just a couple of days. The next episode on Sailing Good Old Boats will be about the Bayfield 25, We'll take you out on her as we sail on Lake Winnipeg out of Silver Harbor and give you a tour through the boat. If you liked today's episode, please give us a thumbs up, or even better yet, subscribe to our channel. You can also sign up to become one of our Patreons and help us to create more videos on our own terms. See you next time on Sailing Good Old Boats.